Okay, so when we talk about what causes ADHD, there's, a lot of controversy around that too, and even in the scientific community, I can't tell you that we have a diagnostic system that I can come in and take some blood from a person or scan their brain and tell you for certain what's going on. But one thing that scientists all kind of agree on is there is some dysregulation of the dopamine network. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain, just like serotonin is, and you might have heard about serotonin in terms of relating to depression. Dopamine is a chemical that we use in the brain to communicate different things in different regions, and there seems to be something that's not quite right about that system, and it has a couple of implications. So one thing that dopamine helps us do is what we call associative learning, and that is being able to put cause and effect together. If this happens, then this happens, and those things are related. And making that connection that I have a behavior and the consequence is related to my behavior is a learning process that is regulated by dopamine regions of the brain. The other thing dopamine is important in is decision making. So how do I decide if I should do this or I should do that? I'm making an option, I'm choosing something, and choosing a behavior or choosing a particular path or course to take is involved in computations that dopamine regulates. Dopamine tells you how much do you like the thing, how much is it going to cost to get it, and those kinds of factors in the cost-benefit analysis we do in making a decision are regulated by dopamine. And so what I'm going to talk about now are kind of in both of those domains, if there's something wrong with the dopamine processing, what would the implications be in terms of behavior? So when we talk about associative learning, we're talking about how do you pair a reinforcer to a particular outcome. So when I say, you did a good job, here's your star for getting a good grade on your homework, that's sort of a reinforcer for the particular behavior that we want them to make that connection. This is good, I should do it again. And when we're talking about normal kids, there is a strength of that association. So how well can I tell that what you're rewarding me for is the behavior that you were trying to reward me for is something that is related to how quickly in time those things are brought together. So if I get that reinforcement immediately, then it's very easy for me to tell what it is I did that you liked. If you are a teacher and you're lecturing and you're talking and the child is sitting quietly and maybe 5 minutes into it you kind of walk over and give them a reward, it's much harder for them to figure out what am I doing that you like, what am I not doing that you like. It's harder the more things that they're happening in between. So if they are behaving a lot and they're running around in the classroom but you notice them be nice to a friend and you want to reward that, it's difficult for them to put those things together. When that's for normal children, we see that as a decay of time. So the longer that is before they get the reward, the less powerful it is in reinforcing that behavior. Because the dopamine systems in the brains of kids with ADHD are not working as well, that decay happens a lot faster. So not only is it more difficult for them right from the start, that any kind of delay in giving that reward can be disconnected to the behavior. They have a hard time actually figuring out it's because of what I did. I did this and now my friend chose me later. This is something that has a very powerful impact, I think, in social development, because a lot of times social rewards are very implicit. We have to figure them out. So we have to figure out that the reason why no one chose me at PE is because I'm always breaking the rules of the game and they don't want to get in trouble because they're near me. That really requires them to put together, well, that's what I did yesterday and here's the consequence today, or vice versa, that yesterday I got along with everybody and now when Susie can pick somebody to go to lunch with her and a special treat, she's going to pick me because I did something nice to her yesterday. That connection is very difficult for kids with ADHD to make, and so the world looks a little bit more random to them because some days their teacher's happy with them, some days their teacher's not. It's much harder for them to put together that their behavior is driving that association and that they have control over that.